Stronghold Legends, a game that dared to blend the beloved castle building strategy of the Stronghold series with the magic of legends and myth. Released in 2006, it brought us a unique twist on medieval strategy, featuring iconic heroes like King Arthur, Vlad the Impaler, and Siegfried the Dragon Slayer. With its blend of real-time strategy, fantastical units, and faction-specific powers, Stronghold Legends carved out a special place in the heart of its fans. In this video we'll explore the legacy of Stronghold Legends, discuss the features and improvements a sequel could bring, and speculate on whether Firefly Studios might ever bring this concept back to life. So whether you're a die-hard fan of the original, or simply someone curious about the possibilities, let's take a closer look at the potential of Stronghold Legends 2. Let's dive in. So let us begin by going back to 2006. The Stronghold series had already built a reputation as one of the best medieval RTS games, focusing on historical realism and tactical warfare. Then came Stronghold Legends, which turned the franchise on its head. This wasn't your typical medieval RTS. Instead of basing the game in historic reality, Legends threw players into a world of myth and magic, allowing them to choose from 3 unique factions. The first faction, the Arthur faction, led by King Arthur, symbolised chivalry and heroism. Arthur's knights bring strength and discipline to the battlefield, while Merlin's magic adds a touch of mysticism. Each of Arthur's knights of the Round Table have their unique powers, all adding a fun dimension to siege warfare in the fun and interesting ways they can be used. For example, Sir Percival, who can call a holy blast to knock units off walls, and Sir Gawain, who can summon a shield to protect units from projectiles by calling forth Heavenly Shield. The evil faction, led by Vlad Dracula, embraces chaos and fear. This dark faction was a fan favourite for its sinister vibe, fielding such units as vampire creepers, werewolves, and the sorcerer. Dracula's abilities to instill terror and summon dark forces make him a fun faction for aggressive players. The Ice faction, led by Siegfried, brought a chilling edge to the game. From frost giants, wolves, and ice spells, this faction was perfect for players who preferred a defensive, calculated approach. Siegfried's icy powers could freeze entire armies, creating unique opportunities to outmaneuver opponents. Each faction had its own distinct units, heroes, and abilities, making the gameplay feel fresh and dynamic. Whether you were summoning a dragon to devastate enemies' armies, or using ice magic to freeze entire battalions, the fantasy element added a new layer of strategy and excitement. In Legends, it was also much easier for the attacker to get an advantage over the defender due to magical abilities, which could blast units off walls, and due to the inclusion of fantasy units that could climb over walls and convert or kill defending units with ease. But Stronghold Legends wasn't just about combat. The core castle building mechanics remained, allowing players to design and defend their dream fortress. Whether you were fortifying a snowy stronghold with ice towers or crafting dark gothic cathedrals with Dracula, the game's visual design added a layer of immersion that made every castle feel like a character in its own right. However, despite its bold ideas, Stronghold Legends wasn't without its flaws. Some critics felt it lacked the depth for the historic Stronghold games, and its fantasy focus divided the fanbase. But for many fans of Stronghold, myself included, it was a breath of fresh air, a game that dared to dream big and bring something new to the RTS genre. And that's why the idea of a sequel still resonates with fans today. Over the past few years, we've seen a resurgence of interest in strategy games. Titles like Age of Empires 4 and Godsworn have reignited the passion of real-time strategy, proving that players still love games that challenge their tactical skills. At the same time, we've seen a growing interest in games with fantasy settings. Look at the recent success of the remake Age of Mythology Retold, a clear sign that fans are eager for strategy games with a magical twist. This is where Stronghold Legends 2 could shine. Unlike historical RTS games, Legends offers something truly unique, a blend of castle building strategy and fantastical warfare. A sequel could take this formula and expand it in ways that appeal to both nostalgic fans and a new generation of players. And let's not forget the advancements in technology. With modern engines like Unreal, a new Stronghold Legends could deliver breathtaking visuals and immersive gameplay. Imagine dragons casting shadows over your castles as they swoop down for an attack, or magical storms tearing through enemy lines with stunning particle effects. The fantasy elements could be more vibrant and lifelike than ever before. Now let's imagine what Stronghold Legends 2 could look like. If Firefly Studios ever decided to revisit this magical world, there's so much they could do to expand on the original. To begin, the original game focused on medieval European legends, but a sequel could draw from a wider range of myths. It could add in Norse factions from the time period, led by Odin or Thor, featuring the Valkyrie, frost trolls, or thunderous storm spells. or could head back to the ancient world and include a Greek faction led by Zeus or Aphrodite, commanding minotaurs, hydras, and godly lightning powers. They could even include Eastern myths with armies of phoenixes and dragons, taking inspiration from their previous title, Stronghold Warlord. Another exciting addition that the sequel could bring is deeper customization for units and heroes. Imagine the ability to upgrade your dragons with different elemental powers, fire for devastating damage, ice for freezing enemies in their tracks, or even lightning for chain attacks. Knights could be equipped with enchanted weapons that grant special abilities, like a sword that heals nearby allies, or armies that reflect enemy attacks. These options would allow players to build and tailor their armies to suit their unique playstyle. Beyond units, heroes could become more dynamic. Players could level up their heroes and choose abilities that align with their strategy. For example, a faction's dragon could specialise in aerial combat, raining fire from above, or focus on ground-based attacks that decimate enemy structures. Meanwhile, iconic heroes like Merlin could evolve into a master of healing, bolstering allied forces, or unleash destructive spells to turn the tide of battle. And here is an idea inspired by one of my favourite games, the Battle of Middle-earth 2. The ability to create your own heroes. Players could design a personalised hero from scratch, choosing their appearance, abilities and stats. Imagine bringing your unique creation to the battlefield and watching them level up as you play. With each level you could upload new spells, gain better equipment, or increase their total HP. This would add a layer of personalisation and replayability, allowing every player to have their own unique legendary unit on the battlefield. Instead of a linear campaign, Stronghold Legends 2 could feature a branch narrative where your choices affect the story similar to the campaign in Stronghold 2. For example, allying with a faction of elves might unlock new magical units, but also provoke the wrath of rival factions. Every decision could lead to unique missions and outcomes, adding replay value to the game. The campaign could also introduce mythical creatures as environmental threats. The player could have to defend their castle from a rampant kraken or navigate their armies through volcanic landscapes populated by fire elements. The mythical fantasy setting could be utilised in gameplay, something that was sadly missing from Stronghold Legends. Multiplayer in a sequel could also take Legends to the next level with co-op campaigns where two players team up to fight against overwhelming mythical threats. One player could focus on building defences, while the other leads an offensive army, similar to the co-op mode seen in the Dungeon series. Competitive multiplayer could introduce new objectives beyond simply destroying your opponent's castle. For example, players could race to capture magical relics, summon a dragon, or conquer key locations on the map. King of the Hill could also be greatly expanded from the first game, offering more complex maps and environments. Modern RTS games have pushed the boundaries of what's possible in large-scale battles, and Stronghold Legends 2 could follow suit. With advances in technology, Stronghold Legends could support larger armies and more complex battlefield dynamics. Imagine hundreds of units clashing in an epic siege, with dragons and giants towering over the chaos. Destructive terrain, weather effects and day and night cycles could also be added to the game, adding a new layer of strategy. For example, a rainstorm could weaken fire-based units, and a nighttime assault might give stealth units an advantage. Furthermore, magic could take centre stage with visually stunning and tactically impactful abilities. Picture a fire dragon scorching an entire battlefield, or knights like Sir Bedivere of the Round Table making a return, and parting enemy walls like Moses parting the Red Sea. The scale and spectacle of battles in Stronghold Legends 2 could redefine what fans expect from a fantasy RTS game. In short, the potential for Stronghold Legends 2 is limitless. By building on the strengths of the original and embracing new ideas, a sequel could become the definitive fantasy RTS experience. Whether it's introducing new factions, expanding gameplay systems, or creating more immersive campaigns, there's so much room for innovation. And that's why fans continue to dream of what this game could be. Now for the big question, is there any hope for Stronghold Legends 2? Unfortunately, Firefly Studios hasn't announced any plans for a sequel. In recent years, the studio has focused on historical entries like Stronghold Warlord, and is currently focusing on the upcoming Stronghold Unreal, which is rumoured to be in a realistic setting. However, that doesn't mean the dream is dead. Fans' interest has revived interest before. Just look at how community demand brought us remasters like Age of Mythology Retold. If enough players voice their love for Stronghold Legends, Firefly might take notice. The studio has always been open to feedback, and if the demand is there, they could be convinced to revisit the world of Legends. After all, fantasy RTS games remain an undeserved niche in the market. With the right approach, Stronghold Legends could recapture the imagination of both fans and new players. So how can fans help make Stronghold Legends 2 a reality? Here are a few ideas. Firstly, we can engage with Firefly Studios, sharing our support for a sequel in their forums, social media and YouTube channel. Let them know that the community is passionate about Legends. We could also keep playing the original. Streaming, creating mods or hosting multiplayer matches keeps the game alive and shows there's still interest in its unique gameplay. Furthermore, we can support similar projects, games like Stronghold Warlords or Stronghold Unreal, helping Firefly remain successful, increasing the chances of future projects like Stronghold Legends 2. Also discuss the idea of a Stronghold Legends 2 on Reddit, Discord or fan forums. By starting conversation about the sequel, we could help build excitement and keep the dream alive. For me, Stronghold Legends was more than just a game, it was an ambitious blend of strategy and myth that captured the heart of fans. While we don't know if we'll ever see a Stronghold Legends 2, hope remains. With fan support, creative ideas and a little bit of magic, anything is possible. Maybe if Stronghold Unreal succeeds, which I hope it does, Stronghold Legends 2 could be the next game we get in the beloved Stronghold series. So what about you? Would you play a sequel? What features, factions or mythical creatures would you want to see? Do you agree with my ideas? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Stronghold content. Thank you for watching.